What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
A lot of things coming out this week, John, not necessarily very positive around Kyrie coming back. You know kind of how I feel. I saw you mixing it up with CLNS founder Nick Gelso on Twitter. And so it's been an engaging week of discussion. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, it has, and everyone is in the heart of it, in the middle of it, and mixed up into it. You know, the whole thing with Kyrie, it's fascinating because there are no answers. It's all speculation. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on. Everyone knows what happened, but nobody knows why. Nobody knows what caused Kyrie to do this or that or the other.
And I'm not even sure Kyrie knows what he's doing right now.
Right.
I mean, random tweet, right, today? Like,
oh, Instagram, but yeah, whatever.
Instagram, right. There you go. Still.
You know, world peace. We're going to have world peace. I mean, look.
Meta world peace coming out of retirement?
If only. If only. It may make more sense than what that Instagram post did. It was just nuts. Bananas. I don't even get it. You know, and he's mercurial, and he's not like any other superstar we have around right now. And the only thing I can compare it to is the Dennis Rodman era, just completely bananas. But here we are. You know, but he's really good at basketball.
He's really good at basketball, and you still want him back no matter what. And that's been the crux of the conversation, right? A lot of people in Boston are willing to go over and help him pack his bags. It's really interesting. And I honestly, I think one of the reasons that the fan base, and I don't know if you feel this way, John, but I think one of the reasons the fan base who's behind Kyrie gets upset with all that is because they think he's reading. And because he's not beloved here, he may just go ahead and leave just because of the hate, you know, from the fan base. And I'll just go somewhere where people like me.
Yeah, look, if he comes back, shows a great deal of responsibility, maturity. I think you have to, you know, appreciate him willing to say, no, I'm going to dig in and I'm going to make this relationship work with my fans, with the organization, with my teammates. And that's what we want. I think that would be the ideal scenario, but that's asking a lot. So, you know, even for those of us who want him to come back and think that last year's an aberration, it's asking a lot of a guy to not take the easy way out. You know, and an easy way out, I'm saying, don't take 190 million, take only 140 million somewhere else. It could be LA, it could be New York. That's kind of a crazy way to look at it, but there's so many reasons for him to want to build that back. And if he cares about things that conventional NBA stars do, that may hold a lot of sway for him. But again, Kyrie's a mercurial guy, so we just don't know what exactly he wants, what he values, what he expects. And even if he told you, you're not even sure that you believe it, or not that you wouldn't believe it, he's lying, but like, what the heck is this guy even saying to me? And that's the difficult part about Kyrie Irving, leader. I don't know that his teammates can jump on board and say, hey guys, we're going to get it, because he's going to go on some sort of 45-minute treatise about, you know, the way that the plastics have taken over the earth, and that really what we really should be using is soybeans and some hemp composting. I mean, like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, man. I just want to play a basketball game, and yet we just spent 45 minutes. That's where we are with Kyrie Irving, you know, and he's got to understand.
I did really appreciate the fact that you are at least throwing some shade his way, because I feel like we spent a lot of the season with you being really just defending him. So you've clearly softened a little bit over the last few weeks, which I find somewhat surprising. I was full of vitriol, and I'm still just not so sure that he's the right, you know, fit for this team as a leader. And I think I can't remember where I read it, but the whole idea was that we can't expect Kyrie to be the leader. He can be the best player. He can be the one who takes the last shot. He can be the guy who wins the game, just like he did when Cleveland won the championship in a major comeback against Golden State, hitting a huge shot. He can be that guy, but he can't be the leader. Now, here's the other thing. We've talked a lot about Kyrie and his contract, but we really have spent almost no time on this show talking about what if Horford had a horrible time last season? Like, we've just taken him for granted that he's happy to be here and everything else, but he also can't be that leader. And I think there's a reason that Kevin Garnett has just come up over and over for us in a lot of conversations around this team this year. And I think that because he's that inspirational leader, he's that guy that says, this is what it looks like on the floor. And if you can't match my effort, you're garbage. And so I think that's really, they need it from somewhere. They're not getting that from Horford either. They're not getting it from they're really not getting it from any of their veterans. Morris, maybe a little bit. I'd say Marcus Smart is probably the one that, if he were a marquee player, he might really move into that role 100%. But that's really all fallen on Marcus Smart's shoulders for the most part. So I don't know where it comes from, but they need somebody who is at Kyrie's level, who has Marcus Smart's vocality in the locker room so that it's carrying a little bit more weight when Kyrie does go off the map. And I don't think that's Davis either. That's the unfortunate reality of that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have the whole situation with, what Brad likes to say with leaders is that everyone's a leader, right? Everyone has, there are no captains, right? That's how Brad likes to lead this franchise. He wants to see everyone has a stake in the game, and there isn't one guy. And I think that's true to some degree. I think this year we saw, that you need sometimes more than that. You need to be able to say, that's great and all, but you need some singular, talent, some singular ability, some singular voice. And that voice can't be talking about Ask Me July 1st. That voice can't be sending mixed messages in the media that rip apart the young guys. That guy can't be doing other things. Now, there are times when you have to call teammates. I mean, Larry Bird, right? Play like a bunch of sissies, right? Play like a bunch of women. That
was definitely something that he got away with saying back in the 80s.
1984 was a very different time than 2019, but like, why are we, but now we're where this team was, it was a whole bunch of things. And that's why I think you can't distill what happened this season down to one player or how one player, journey impacted that. And I think that in that postseason analysis, that's exactly what's happening. I think, and that's probably why you're hearing me, have heard me say, defending Kyrie, because I feel like so much of this is being thrown on his shoulders. And I don't think that's fair. The team's failures are not Kyrie Irving's responsibility. He has blame for what he did, but the team, the overall team, there's a lot of fathers to that one. And so that's an issue. But when we're talking about Kyrie Irving, the player, do I want Kyrie Irving, the player, back? I need Kyrie Irving, the player, to be a part of this and not pull himself away from it.
Part of
and
the
that's
vitriol,
what he did over and over this year.
Yeah, but part of the vitriol from me was Kyrie Irving, the player. Like, I just thought he abandoned the team thing. Every time Jason Tatum didn't hit a shot, all of a sudden Kyrie's gunning again. And I never felt like he fully stuck to that. And again, you look at somebody like Kevin Garnett. How many times did we get frustrated because he wouldn't go aggressive to the hole or take over the game offensively? That was like the one thing. But he was almost unselfish to a fault in the way that he's like, I'll do the rebounding, I'll do the dirt work, I'll do the defending, I'll do the block shots, and offensively, if I'll do a little bit. But he was always about letting other guys get their shots and not being a hog. And I'm not saying that that's what Kyrie Irving's role is on this team, but my point is that I think he gave up on it a little bit too easily many times throughout the season. And I know that like the whole basis of the dialogue between you and me is that's what he does. He needs shots. He needs to do that. That's how he gets off. He's, a premier player in the league. Da, da, da. And I sort of understand that, but it was also somewhat miserable for me to watch the basketball game. Like, I don't enjoy watching that type of basketball. I enjoyed watching the last couple of years. Horford found a way to do it, right? I think Hayward would be just fine. The problem is, he's still struggling. So hopefully he gets healthy, but I think he would be just fine and still moving the ball and they could be successful. But Kyrie's a little bit of a volume shooter. And sometimes, it just doesn't get going around. And as soon as another player doesn't step up, it's almost like he's like, oh, if I had Davis here, I wouldn't have to worry about that. Or, if I had what I needed here, I wouldn't have to worry about that. And I'm not sure that that's definitely what's going on. I'm just saying, it's kind of curious.